What's good? I'm back again with another video, and today we are going to be talking about sunscreen myths. Yes, these bangs are fake. I like put them in a bun to create faux bangs, but I really think I'm actually gonna cut my hair like this, so there's that on that. This video is sponsored by Neutrogena, but I have compiled a list of 5 common myths that people have about sunscreen, and we're just gonna go through them. We're going to debunk them because they are not true, and let's get to it. Well, actually, before we do that, I have a task for you guys. I want you to pause the video, scroll down to the comment section, and answer this question. Did you apply SPF this morning? Answer either yes or no, and tell the truth. You ain't got to lie, Craig, just tell the truth. You know, this is a safe space. No one's gonna drag you, probably. And if you said no, I want you to type the reason. So, no, I didn't apply sunscreen today because blah, 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 blah. Just do it. I'm trying to see some, okay? So pause the video, scroll down, type it out, come back, and then hit play. All right, and now that we have gotten that out of the way, let's get to the 5 common myths that people have about sunscreen. I have them on my phone right here, and let's just dive right into it. So, skincare myth number 1. All sunscreens give me a white cast. Well, let me just tell you that that is inherently untrue. Not all sunscreens will give you a white cast. There are many, many different types of sunscreens. There's chemical sunscreens and there's physical sunscreens. Some of them give you a white cast, some of them don't. So the reason why some sunscreens give you a white cast is because they are a mineral sunscreen, and they use an ingredient called zinc oxide. Zinc is a white mineral, and the way that that ingredient works in sunscreen is that it applies like a white layer on your face, and the UV rays are meant to hit your face, and then the white mineral on your face will basically reflect it, like it will just bounce back and won't be absorbed by the skin. So that's the way that mineral sunscreens work, and that's why some sunscreens give you a white cast, because zinc is just a white mineral, and that's the way it's meant to work. Now, there are different formulas. Some sunscreens just straight up make you look ashy, but then there's also some formulas that are created with like micronized zinc that gives you way less of a white cast. Or there are also some mineral sunscreens that are tinted, so they are more blendable on like skin tone, on different skin tones. Alternatively, you can go with a chemical sunscreens. Chemical sunscreens for the most part do not give you a white cast because they don't contain minerals that are white in their formulas. But basically, this myth is busted because not all sunscreens give you a white cast. You really just have to try different products and different formulas and see what works best for you. Just to give you an example, Neutrogena has so many different types of sunscreens. Like if you go to their website and you look at their sunscreen section, there's actually so many types, like I can't even begin to explain what each of them are. Some of their sunscreens do give me a white cast because it is a mineral sunscreen and it's created with zinc, which is a white mineral. But then they also have some sunscreens that do not give you a white cast. And one of my favorite sunscreens of all time is the Neutrogena Hydro Boost Water Gel Lotion SPF 50. I have talked about the Hydro Boost line on my channel many times before. It's my favorite line from Neutrogena. It's so good, I love it. But what I like about the Hydro Boost sunscreen is that it doesn't give you a white cast. It has a really nice texture, and it's not greasy. Like another issue that a lot of people have with sunscreens is that, oh, it's too greasy and I don't want to apply it, like it ruins my makeup, blah, blah, blah. So what I like about this one is that it is a non-greasy formula and it doesn't give me a white cast. So no, it is not true that all sunscreens give you a white cast. It's just a matter of finding the best product that works for you. All right, common skincare myth number 2. All sunscreens make me break out. Again, inherently untrue. I'm sure there are some sunscreens out there that will make me break out. I'm sure there are some sunscreens out there that will make you break out. A sunscreen that makes me break out may not make you break out. A sunscreen that makes you break out may not make me break out. Everyone's skin is different, everyone's biochemistry is different, and there are so many different types of formulas that are completely different. I would say that most sophisticated sunscreens in 2019 are tested for like if they clog pores or not. I would say that most sunscreens are non-comedogenic, but obviously people's skin is different. Sometimes your skin will react to a certain ingredient in a sunscreen, but that doesn't mean that all sunscreens will make you break out just because one of them did. The common theme that you'll notice throughout this video is if you've tried like 1 or 2 sunscreens and they didn't work out for you, it doesn't mean that all sunscreens are gonna be like that. You really just have to find the right one for you. So no, myth busted, not all sunscreens will break you out. Common sunscreen myth number 3. I don't have to wear sunscreen during the winter. Now, I don't know why this is such a popular myth because you do have to wear sunscreen during the winter. The sun is still there. The sun is still here and the UV rays are still hitting Earth. I think it might be a common myth because we don't spend that much time outside during the winter, but I've seen a lot of people say that they don't have to wear sunscreen during the winter because we're further away from the sun and that's why it's winter. Like that's why it's cold, because we're further away from the sun. That is not true. The Earth is actually closest to the sun when it is winter in the northern hemisphere. The reason why it is winter on the northern hemisphere is because the Earth is tilted on its axis. So if the sun is shining, right, well, the northern hemisphere is all the way over here because the Earth is tilted on its axis. It's gonna be colder up here, but it's gonna be hotter right here. That's why when it's winter in North America, it's summer in Australia because the Earth is tilted on its axis. It has nothing to do with Earth's distance to the sun. It's winter because of the Earth's tilt. That being said, you still need to wear sunscreen if you are going to be outside. Like if you have a daily commute where you're outside walking, taking the train, blah, 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 like you're still spending time outside, you still need to wear SPF because you're still getting sun exposure, you're still getting UV exposure. The problem with the winter is a lot of people aren't like monitoring their sun exposure because it's the winter. They're like, oh, well, it's not hot outside. Like I'm not in the sun as much as I am in the summer. So a lot of people don't monitor that, or they're not aware of how much sun exposure they're actually getting. So I think that's just like a contributing factor to the myth, you know what I'm saying? So myth busted, you still have to wear sunscreen even during the winter because the sun still exists in the winter. The sun is still here and the sun is still gonna do its thing. The 4th most common sunscreen myth is I don't have to wear sunscreen when it's overcast or cloudy outside. A lot of people think that because they live in Seattle or they live in the UK where it's like cloudy all the time that they don't have to wear sunscreen. Well, that's actually not true because UV rays still penetrate clouds. They still penetrate clouds. And if you are still going to be outside, you're still going to get UV exposure. So you still have to wear sunscreen even when it's overcast, even when it's cloudy. Again, it just depends how much sun exposure you're actually getting, but you still need to wear sunscreen if you're getting any sun exposure. Even when it's overcast, even when it's cloudy outside, even if you live in the UK. And the last skincare myth is something that is very personal to me, which is, I'm a person of color. I don't need sunscreen. I get so many comments on my videos like this when I apply SPF. There's a lot of people of color, Black people, Asian people, Latinos, Polynesians, whatever, you name it, people of color from all over the world. They say, well, I'm Black, I don't need sunscreen. I'm like, I'm brown. I don't really need sunscreen. Sunscreen's only for white people. That's incorrect. It is true that the darker the color of your skin, the less likely you are to be sunburnt or get skin cancer. But that doesn't mean that you're completely 100% immune to it. Also, just because you don't get sunburnt doesn't mean that the sun isn't doing damage to your skin. In fact, when your skin tans, that's actually sun damage. When you get a tan from the sun, that is literally skin damage because this is how tans work. Usually pale people, when they go in the sun, they start burning. And if you're like naturally more tan or naturally more brown, you'll notice that you don't burn, you actually tan. And that is because that is your skin's response to protecting you from being burnt. So when you're in the sun for too long and you start tanning, that is melanin that your body is creating to protect you. It's making you darker to protect you from getting sunburnt. So tanning is actually sun damage, and a lot of people don't actually know that. I didn't know that until like a year and a half ago. That's like pretty new news to me. Another common misconception that I've noticed is a lot of like light-skinned black people assuming that they don't have to wear sunscreen because they're black. The sun doesn't care how you racially identify. The sun's just gonna do its thing. You know, they're not gonna be like, ooh, a light skin. Oh, but I'm black though. Oh. That is not how this goes. The sun doesn't care how you racially identify. If you are pale or if you're like light skinned, like I know, like there are people who are lighter than me that are like, oh, well, I'm black though, so like I don't have to wear sunscreen. The lighter you are, the more at risk you are to more sun damage. So if you're light skinned, even if you racially identify as black, the sun is still gonna do its thing. You know what I'm saying? And you want to minimize as much sun damage as possible. So even if you're black, even if you are a person of color, you still have to wear sunscreen. And you won't regret this when you get older. Anyway, those were 5 of the most common misconceptions or myths about sunscreen that we just debunked. So right after this video ends, I want you to go research some sunscreens. Again, one of my recommendations is the Neutrogena Hydro Boost. If one of your main concerns about sunscreen is white cast, I would look into a chemical sunscreen like the Hydro Boost one, because they are less likely to give you a white cast. Or you can look into like a tinted mineral sunscreen. There are just so many different formulas and so many different options out there. There is literally no reason in the year 2019 to not be wearing sunscreen and not taking care of your skin and not protecting your skin from UV exposure. Okay? Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Thank you Neutrogena for sponsoring this video. Give this video a thumbs up if you learned something new, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace!